Hey there, YouTubers. Your boy Slim is back. I hope everyone has had a great holiday season. Here to show you some results from the Duelist Cup, as well as my new milestone that I reached Master 1 for the first time. Super excited about that. And this video is I know it's a little bit of a long one, I'm sorry. I try to trim as much content as possible. But I reached this milestone by switching back and forth between Lunalight there. Lunalight was the one that got me over the final hump to Master 1. But before that, I'd been switching back and forth between Odion, Gem Knights, and of course Lunalight. The first half of this video, coming up right now, you'll see a lot of the Odion replays, a couple of Gem Knight replays sprinkled in, and then mostly Lunalight to wrap it up. So for this video here, I start off with a Surge. Of course, they droll me, and I don't really have much to end on there, so I set to pass. Now, I do have Maxi, and I have Nibiru in hand, and I'm going up against Maliss here. So, I'm going to just try to get as many draws as possible, and then I set up my one negate. I know that Super Poly is going to come in handy, because I have the tech there that I can take advantage of the fact that they play a lot of dark monsters. Now, I do set up the negate, and they don't want to give me any more draws, or I guess they maybe suspect that I have Super Poly set, so they go on Heart Scripter and pass. Now they're going to use the Cryptor ban to banish my my field spell. I try to go into the fusion and get my traps back, no dice, and then they Ash Man with the Mark. So I'm actually in a heap of trouble here because the Fu in my hand is useless, and basically I'm hoping that Nibiru and Ghost Spell and Super Poly can do something for me here. They're proceeding to combo off now because they don't have to fear Max C. I will Super Poly right here and go into Predaplant Fusion. I Ghost Spell their Bestial, but they will hit me with a Call by the Grave. So not a good start here. I'm really in deep. Now they beat over Man with the Mark, and then they set up a Floodgate in Dimensional Fissure. And my top deck doesn't help, but at least I can beat over their Bestial. And yeah, they special summon and then Bestial themselves. But that only helps them, of course. So now they're building up for a big push here. They go into White Binder. God, I hate that card. But thankfully, my Predaplant has the sort of Solemn Warning effect. They're still able to get some bodies on board, but that's when I make them play into Nibiru, but they have Impulse. So again, I'm not in a good position here. They go for Nightmare Phoenix and then SP to banish my Predaplant, which is smart because in future turns, I can't use the Solemn Warning effect now. So I set one and pass. And really what I'm hoping for here is that they get rid of the Lingaribo, because that is a negate for a trap card. They aren't able to get into any other starters, and I draw mine. I draw Man with the Mark. They do SP temporary banish it, but it doesn't matter because the effect will still resolve. And what I do is I send my Verdict of Anubis to the graveyard to be able to resurrect the last Judge of Anubis. Now here I use, I'm finally able to resolve the Fusion's effect, so I can reset my traps, and now I have a negate, and a pop, and I have a 3k beater, and I think they realized that they had nothing, so I squeaked that one out. That was a fun win. Alright, going first here, I actually won a coin toss, and I have a really cracked hand. You can see that I have Kashtira Birth, because I am playing a small cash package, which is a bit of a departure from what I was running in a previous video I uploaded with Odion, but it really helps. Okay, so I activate my Apophis, they negate one, but I'm able to stop the other. So here I'm going up against Orcust, and this duel was really quick. I just wanted to showcase just the power of all of the negates that I was able to resolve there. Having Super Poly also really helped because then I go into Starving Venom, Now they have no follow-up. They have one card in hand left, and even though I've used my negates and I was worried about what was left, easy win. Going first here again. Search, but they ash it, but that's okay because that was bait. Man with the mark, get my field spell, and set up. Now here, what I do is I get Circuit and I special summon it on board, get the extra card in hand, but I don't play it. Because really what I'm going to do here is you're going to see the tech I'm running. So again, set up the negate there with my Apophis traps, and it's against Maliss. Now they negate my negate. So that was a nice little chain there. So they stop my negates, and I'm kind of in trouble. But they go into Linkaribo, and they bring out their Bestial. So they're starting to combo off. I need to be very careful here how I use my last interruption. They go into SP though. And then, because they're going to get rid of it anyway, I just use my Super Poly on Circuit to bring out the Fusion Circuit, which on summon or when it attacks, or when it battles rather, it can banish. So I clear something out of their grave. I think it was Linkaribo. Give it a little boost, but now they ended on nothing. And then because I have a level 10 banished, the Circuit Fusion can attack twice. So nice little easy win there because it hit them for game. Okay, so here I'm going second, and I actually draw one of the best possible going second hands because I have all non-engine. And I'm facing Dracotail Magistus. I play Maxi, they will ash it of course, and I can't call by the grave here. And they're going to just go full combo. I do ash them, but it doesn't matter because then they bring out Boral Savage. So they have an Omni Negate. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Mitsurugi Magistus. Yeah, they're just going off. So they're gonna have 2 Omni Negates at the very least here. It really feels helpless watching this deck just completely combo off, but you know, I do have a plan. The benefit here is that all of these monsters are dark. Now they're starting to go into the Fiendsmith engine here, so here I was worried because if they have enough light monsters to kind of interrupt the flow there, my Super Poly wouldn't be as effective. But they go, so here they're going to go into the Fusion. Because I think that what they wanted to end on, and what they do end on, is High King Caesar. But they're still going to have 3 dark monsters on board, and that's all I needed. Because you can see, obviously, they added Purification there, which would be strong, but thankfully you can't interact with Super Poly. So I draw into another Ash, but then I get rid of the Evenly, Super Poly into the Predaplant card. Now they have nothing that they can use the trap for. I Ash the Ritual spell, attack, beat over, and they do a little burn damage, but then they have nothing else. And then I'll just set Call by the Grave. Now I do spring the trap here on the Fiendsmith on Engraver, because I don't want to give them any opportunity to potentially just swarm the board. I'm trying to maintain the little card advantage. I don't even really have card advantage there, but still. Now they're going to try to bridge back into the Mitsurugi engine, but thanks to the Solemn Warning effect of the Predaplant card, it's not happening. And then I draw into a starter, and then that's going to be game. And they recognize that they scoop once they see me resolve the field spell and have all of that advantage now. So the name of the game with Odion is really control, and I think that this build that I have is really doing it pretty effectively. They're going first here, and oh, that's right, I switched here. So for a little bit, the next 2 replays are going to be Gem Knight focused. So you can just sit back and relax while this opponent goes full combo, as will the next one. So we're up against Ryzeal. I believe it's Ryzeal Mitsurugi. So again, as you can see already, they have Detonator out. They're going to have their field spell, Monster Negate, and there's King of the Feral Imps, which I hope they ban. Like, please. I saw the the not the emergency, but like the Christmas ban list, that it's like preemptive for Yummy. And I hope that they can also just get rid of King of the Feral Imps. The fact that Mitsu and Ryzeal can bridge into each other is just really annoying. Actually, I think that was why I switched momentarily to one of my favorite decks in Gem Knights, because I was tired of using hand traps and other stuff to interrupt one engine, only for the other one to come out like gangbusters, and then I'm toast anyway. So here I figured, why fight it, let them go full combo, and then I'll just try to break the board with Gem Knights. Which, as you're going to see here, it works out, but the problem is that doing that game after game, one, is kind of tiring mentally, but at the same time, it's also just not very consistent. This deck is very resilient, and you're going to see that, I think, either in this duel or in the next one, what I mean. So I have to bait the Omni Negate, and I do, they don't even try to Omni Negate Feather Duster, so they just let the other stuff go. I will Sales Ban the Detonator, and they do try to negate that, but I will, I will discard there. So now I'm just trying to build up a board so that I can OTK. They still have some interruption, but right now this is where Gem Knight really excels. That you can still, like, if you get 2 bodies on board, still usually push through most kinds of interruption, depending on how you sequence it. But there I was able to get Brilliant Fusion out. And now I'm going to use the Lady Brilliant Diamond to get out Master Diamond, use the Fusion effect. Out comes Diamond Dispersion. I'll make another Quartz there. And now I'm going to go for the OTK line. Copying Topaz effect, bringing back my Fusion spell for a second just so that I can beef up my Lady Brilliant Diamond. Get rid of the monster that was weakening my other monsters. Master Diamond. I forgot about Detonator still being able to use the Destruction Protection, even though it was negated by Sales Ban, because it's not an activated effect. So I don't go for lethal there, and they try to Nibiru me in main too, but I still have the Omni Negate, and I'm safe for now. And then because they used Dugaris in their first turn, they skipped their draw phase, so they had nothing, just the Nibiru, and that wasn't enough, so they scoop. Here we go again with Gem Knights, and I think it's here we go again against a Ryzeal Mitsu deck. Yeah, there's the Mitsu engine. Now this time I will hit them with Fua. Sorry, that was Perulio. They're gonna try to play around. I got one draw there because they summoned Mirakumo from hand. And that's the thing with how I build Gem Knights. It's like really all I'm trying to do is max out draw power. But now they're aware of it. They're just kind of playing between the graveyard and the deck. Even so, they're gonna have an Omni Negate. There comes Dugares. I'm waiting to see if they go into any Ryzeal cards here. I get another draw. Now I have Max C too. And they're trying to go into the Fiendsmith engine. So I will throw down the Max C, and obviously I will discard so that it resolves. And they will just kind of end on a half board there, which is super clutch. Because now I have less to deal with. So obviously I'm going to try to Duster. They do negate. And out comes Habakiri. They're going to try to negate. I will just hit them with Droplet there. Out comes Brilliant Fusion. Well, comes Armadillo first, then Brilliant Fusion. Or then Hollow Core. Now you do have to be mindful of the other monster that's bringing back cards from graveyard. See, I've given them 2 special summons, and now they're going to imperm my Quartz, which is pretty rough actually. But thankfully, Brilliant Fusion is going to give me an opportunity to just build up a full board. Now out comes Mirakumo again to blow up my board, but I used the negate, which does stink because it does make me go into an awkward line here. But I go into Quartz, I'm able to use the fusion effect. Out comes Diamond Dispersion. Out comes Master Diamond. And I'm going to beef up my Lady Brilliant Diamond too. And we go into the battle phase. I knock out the monsters that do give them protection. And then this is just a more traditional OTK. Because then the burn damage hits and there's nothing they can do about it. Alright, and we're back with Odion now. I'm going second here, and I did draw into Imperm and Super Poly, which is nice. And I'm going up against Maliss again. I actually had a funny replay that I ended up scrapping because it wasn't that entertaining to see. It was just kind of funny to me, where they used Allure of Darkness and then didn't have any dark monsters to send. So they just had to discard the entire hand, instant scoop. So here they're going full combo. I try to imperm the transcode talker there, but it doesn't matter because they're still able to go into Splash Mage and then Reborn. They go with White Binder there. Now they're going to Firewall Dragon. They send the Save Worm. Out comes some of the Ignister stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be tough because they've really just gone full combo because there's Cryptor. So they're gonna have, and then here comes Allied Code. So they're gonna bring out White Binder and Cryptor. So they're gonna have a, oh sorry, that was Transcode Talker. But the White Binder gives them the that triple Call by the Grave, basically, or DD Crow, however you want to look at it. But the Super Poly here hits like a hammer. So I just get rid of all the dark monsters and go with the Predaplan card. They're gonna special summon a White Binder again. And then they're gonna use the triple banish to then get triple effects there. And now they have the super beefed up Cryptor. I'll still hit them with Talons here, and I draw into another into another Super Poly. So I go with Starving Venom, beef up the attack, and then I have a starter there with Man with the Mark. They still go into Access Code, but they can't use the board clearing effect on my turn. They can just make it really strong. I have OG Temple here, so then I'm able to go into my Apophis cards, and they knew I was going to negate the Access Code's effect and make it reduce its attack back to its original, and then I would have just been able to OTK. Odion can be surprisingly explosive depending on the hand you get. Here I'm going first, even though I have a pretty coded going second hand. But my Anub is resolved, so I am able to get my search, and they save the Ash for Man with the Mark, which is actually pretty smart. I got bailed out a little bit by the fact that I drew into Talents again. And here I once again see, because I had Super Poly, I will then special summon Circuit so that I have the fusion live. And I set up my negate. And I'm going up against Tearlament. This one was an actual, just like a dogfight, straight up war. Now they're going into some Fiendsmith stuff here. So this is one of those like slop pile decks where they're going to have Fiendsmith, Tearlament, Gem Knight is in there somewhere. I do my Super Poly tech strategy where I banish Engraver there, but they are going to have a bunch of other pluses that come up based on them having sent cards off of screen. I'm going to try to negate and interrupt them a little bit. I'm basically just trying to make sure that they don't have that many mills. And you can see I was reading the Trap Engrave to see what what it was capable of. So out comes their big boy, or big thing, I'm not even sure. They try to beat over man with the mark, and I do take damage, but thankfully it's not destroyed. And now I gotta see what I can do well, just to try and finish this. But you can see right there, they had some of the Gem Knight cards, some of the Fairy Disruption. I go into the Apophis, they negate it. It's not looking good. So right there I go into Typhon, because I didn't want to leave it in attack mode and just have it be susceptible. Beat over one of their monsters, and just trying to control the board there. Now I have my counter trap Verdict there just in case. Hopefully I was just praying for them to activate a spell or a trap that I could then use to clear their board. But they're really just recycling a lot of stuff and using the effect of the spell that's already on the field. So yeah, I'm just waiting to see how they try to clear Typhon. They're using some of the shufflers there to interrupt my future graveyard plays. Out comes Dugares. Now they're just doing all kinds of typical Tearlament mill shenanigans. I hate this deck a lot too. So they beat over Typhon, but I still have my impenetrable wall with Man with the Mark. But they're gonna hit me with SP right there to get rid of that. They don't know that I have another one in hand, but at the same time, that's still an inconvenience. Because now I have to summon one in attack mode potentially, and I do. They're going to negate. I will hit them with the trap, which clears their board, which is nice, and hits them for a hefty amount of damage. But they're still, because something was sent to the graveyard, they can still recreate a board and have a 3k beater on. So I can't OTK. I was hoping that I'd be able to use my circuit then and just combine it with Man with the Mark and go for game. But look at them, they're just going crazy here. Now I do use my other field spell. They negate my trap, so that really sucks. I don't have an Omni negate now. And right now I'm wide open. Thankfully though, because of Dugares, their main phase 1 was skipped. And they have to just use Brilliant Fusion in main 2. And they're actually going to do me a huge favor right here, because I believe they're going to send Amethyst to the graveyard this turn to bounce all of my set cards, which actually brings back my Evenly Matched to my hand. So it'll be live next turn, as opposed to right now where I didn't really want to use it because it wasn't going to give me much advantage. But yeah, they SP Banish again, and now I have Evenly in hand. So there I go. Evenly Jump Scare. I do get them to banish 2 of their cards, and then the rest go to the graveyard. Man with the Mark, start, and then, yeah, set. Now I'm trying to establish my Omni Negate. But SP comes back, so I do have to be careful. I'll Omni Negate. So they can't mill extra cards. And now I'll negate their fusion. And then I'll go spell the engraver, but then they have Fairy Tail Luna, or Snow, sorry. They don't have enough to kill me this turn. They start to go into some Fiendsmith stuff, and then they try to use to bring back Luna again, or Snow again. I keep doing that. But I think they're gonna scoop because they realize that because they can't OTK me this turn, next turn I have a lot of follow-up once my Man with the Mark comes back. Because then I can just search, and then, yeah. There's also a time limit win, but I was in pretty good position there. Going first here, pretty straightforward. Treasures of the Kings, set my traps, get Man with the Mark with the search effect, and now set 5, and I have max C. So I'm in a really strong position here. And they're going with probably White Forest. I just like the Oh, actually it's Horus. So it's like Diabellstar Horus. So yeah, they're definitely gonna try to play like rank 8 turbo. So I negate the I kind of shotgun this a little bit there, trying to negate the King Sark, because they can still use it to send for cost, and then the monsters can special summon themselves. So I'll take damage there on the punches to Man with the Mark. He's still indestructible, but that is a bit of a drawback there of that ability, because he's a big target at that point. I'll go into my Apophis Fusion, get my traps back, get out Circuit, search another Man with the Mark for follow-up, get OG Temple out, switch man to defense mode so they can't just continue to attack it, pop the King Sark, and then because of sequencing here, I'm able to negate both of the effects. If they'd chain blocked that a little smarter, they would have been able to at least get something to send to graveyard, but I was able to Ghost Spell one and then Imperm the other. I Impermed the Imseti there. So again, sequencing is everything in this game, and that player did not do it particularly well. I was still in a very strong position there because I had a bunch of traps and interruptions. You can see this is a like Orcust, Horus, with some like Diabell stuff sprinkled in. So I'm right now really cautious. I'm trying to make sure that they can't go into the full like Orcust stuff. And right there, as soon as they activate Babel, that's when I spring the trap and clear their board. And that's pretty much game right there. They're going to try to extend a little bit, but I do have one more negate live, and then they go into Verte. So they were going to try to get, I guess, Phoenix Enforcer. But I'm not going to let them even get to that, so they scoop after that goes wrong. Here we go again with Odion. I'm going second this time. Still a solid hand. I have 3 interruptions. And I'm facing Dracotail. So I tend to imperm the Malulu, especially when I have 2 in hand, because then potentially that was their 1 starter. Now on my turn, they're gonna wait because now I can't imperm. So I'm just trying to set up enough that whatever Dracotail plays they go into won't hurt me too much. And yeah, so this chain link, in this chain, I'll have the Omni-Negate live already. So yeah, they're gonna try to pop some stuff and I'll negate, and then I'll use Ghost Spell to stop their trap. The Ketu is gonna be worthless this turn. Now unfortunately they do double DD Crow, so I only get 1. Now because they activated a trap, I get to pop their fusion, and I was still able to get 1 of the traps that they couldn't banish back. And they banished the wrong one too. Now then I go into Silhouette Rabbit, which unfortunately gives them the ability to reborn their fusion. But it's okay. I have plenty here, so you'll see this. I'll clear their one with Rabbit, and they just scoop. I had way too much control of the board here. Here I'm going first, but not a great hand. I don't really have any starters. I just have 4 traps and Ghost Spell, so it's basically set for pass. And what you're gonna see is I'm gonna go with Anguish Pattern first. This is another change from previous videos where I was running Angel Statue, but the potential control with Anguish Pattern is just too important, and I went back to it. So here I'm facing Artmage, and I'm just gonna pop the field spell. I'm gonna stop the spell that they use there to clear their board as well, and they ultimately scoop. They knew that there was just nothing they could do at that point. Here I'm going second against Dracotail, but now you'll see that this is the Lunalight portion of the video. So interesting combo here. I reacted to the Brilliant Fusion and I negated that first with the Impulse. And then I see that they go into the Dracotail plays. So very interesting build. I hadn't seen that combo before, but it makes sense in theory. And yeah, now I'm just letting, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm just waiting for them to finish building up their board and seeing how I can crack it. So I draw a good opening hand. I go into Tanky there, then I go Fractal, send the Hound effect. They're gonna hit me with Max C. This deck, I mean, you end up, anytime someone drops Max C on you with Lunalight, you kind of just play through anyway, because you're just trying to get to Liger or double Liger. Here I'm baiting an interruption, so they're going to flame the Lunalight fusion, but that's okay because now I'll go into some other plays, get some bodies back on board, and then go into Poly. They're gonna pop some of my monsters here, but it's okay because I have 2 Lunalight monsters in hand. And I end up going into Guardian Chimera because of that. Now Chimera's effect, and then the other chain links will resolve. And what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna get first I'm gonna get some draws. So yeah, and thanks to the Chimera draws, I draw into Lunalight Wolf, and then that gives me what I need to go into Liger Dancer, which is perfect because I can just wipe their board, double Liger to the face, and then Chimera would have been the OTK, and they just scoop. Going second, sometimes I actually prefer to go second with Lunalight if I'm being quite honest. Here I'm facing branded Draco. The reason I say that is because sometimes it's just easier to break the board, and then once you have Liger on board, really it's pretty much game. As opposed to if you go first and you set up like even double Liger, you're kind of just waiting to see what they can cook up to crack that, whether that be kaijus or yeah, essentially kaijus are the way to go, or they can find something that they can make something that's indestructible. Maybe Underworld Goddess too. Actually, you're gonna see that a little later on, spoiler alert. But yeah, here they're just going off full combo. Really wish I had Nibiru, but I'm not running it in this build. Yeah, they have 5 face downs and they have Sanctifier. It's a pretty scary board. They let Foolish Burial resolve. I do get Lunalight Fusion, and then I'll use Foolish Burial Goods, normal summon Leo. Then I'll send Hound. They're going to DD Crow, but I'll chain to get a special summon out of it. And I'll bring out my my Kaleido chick, and then I'll bring out the my Black Sheep. Send Black Sheep, get another Black Sheep to hand. They bring out their other fusions, so if something's gonna get popped right now, they will pop Kaleido chick. But Lunalight Fusion is enough. They're gonna negate, but I have Ghost Spell, thankfully. They're gonna Sanctifier to bring out Albaz. But that would resolve in a new chain anyway, so Liger Dancer comes out before they can use Albaz's effect. Then I'm going to use Lunalight Perfume to have a monster that can then attack for game. Here comes the board wipe. They're going to use it to bounce Kaleido chick. I still hit them for 7,600, and they're hanging on by a thread. So now I'm just waiting to see what I can do. I have the negate in graveyard. I'm just saving it for anything really pesky. Here comes the board wipe. Basically, I was doing that because just in case they could somehow run Underworld Goddess, I didn't want them to get another body on board to then tribute off my Liger Dancer. But yeah, they scooped there. They realized they were kind of just noodling a little bit, that they couldn't make anything that could beat over Liger. Going second again here. You can see that I have Branded Fusion in hand because I am running the small Branded package to help. Branded Fusion is another 1-card starter in this deck. You send any Winged Beast or Beast Warrior or anything like that, and you go into Renbrum. This is an interesting play that they were using the 5 Rainbow Magician. Basically, they're just trying to floodgate me but as long as you're able to set a card, then you can go into your plays. So I set Branded Fusion first. Now when they Ash the Emerald Bird, that's when I, okay, set the trap that I drew, and then go Branded Fusion. If I don't do it that way, I'm cooked. Because if I go Branded Fusion first, they Ash it, then yeah, I wouldn't have had a Lunalight card to send. Now here I'm able to do damage. I can't go into Liger Dancer because of this awkward line, but it's okay. They don't draw into anything either, and now they're floodgated because they don't have the ability to set anything. Yeah, I go into Max C, but at this point I don't care. Because now I have everything I need to just completely combo off. And I'm also not fusion locked anymore. Because that is the one drawback of using Branded Fusion. I can't go into any of my XZs and Link plays that oftentimes help Lunalight players extend. But again, the trade-off is you get a negate for extra deck cards with Renbrum. So yeah, then punch to the face there. GG. Going second again with Lunalight. And I'm facing Maliss this time. I don't have anything in hand to stop them, so you're going to see me go against full combo Maliss with Lunalight. And that Cyber's Wicked card is actually pretty effective at slowing down Lunalight because it makes the cards that it points to indestructible. So they put the right cards there. Liger Dancer actually can't just board wipe. Now here they go into Allied Code Talker. There comes Cryptor. Splash Mage is going to get something back now. This was just torture just watching this. I was probably texting, honestly, while they were doing all this since I had no hand traps or anything that I could use to interrupt them. I don't run Super Poly in this as I do in Odion or even in Gem Knight. There comes the Firewall Dragon. So yeah, now I gotta get around the Omni Negate and then the non-target banish. So I go into Tenki, they don't stop Tenki, Fractal Send, Hound Special. Then that's where they will hit me with Ash on Leo Dancer. On Gold Leo, sorry. Gold Leo effect to get back the Black Sheep. I'll send, they're going to banish that, which is honestly just bait. So now I'll use Perfume. So I use Poly, they will negate Poly. But that's okay because I have Lunalight Fusion. And I'm just going to get one more card to hand because watch this. Now they're going to hit me with Droll, but frankly too little too late. They were just trying to get the draws off of Maxi. But once I got Liger Dancer, now it's over because all the life points that they pay leave them incredibly susceptible to what's about to happen. So just wipe the board and I would have attacked for game. Alright, so going first here, Gold Leo gets hit, and then they also will go into Maxi. So I'm going to be giving them some draws, and they hit me with another Dominus card in Purge. But thankfully I can use Black Sheep again. It's not once per turn. And then I'll go into Perfume Dancer to get Lunalight Perfume. I am giving them a lot of draws, so I'm being cognizant of that. But again, Lunalight usually just doesn't care. I'll use the Perfume Search effect to get out, to get Kaleido to hand, and then I'll use the Perfume Dancer effect to kind of just tag them out. So send Wolf back to hand, and then special the Kaleido chick. That all lets me get to Liger Dancer, set Impulse, and pass. And I'm facing Primite Odion. Even though it's the Primite version and I don't run that, I am still very familiar with how this deck works, which gives me a leg up. I know basically to hold the Lunalight board wipe because it doesn't work on the traps and that's why I impulse the trap right there, the serpent, and I'll use the Liger pop to get rid of the vanilla and the circuit, because circuit could actually potentially get big enough to beat over Liger Dancer if I had other monsters for it to destroy. They're gonna use their Primite stuff. I will use Wolf here to try and fuse. Doesn't matter, they can negate it, and I just punch into Man with the Mark twice. Now in theory this could get into a super grind game if they just switch it to defense mode now, because I can't destroy it and I would just have to keep attacking it. But for some reason they scoop here. I think they realize that they don't have enough in the grind game, because I looked at the deck and I think I had more cards in deck than they did, and that would just end up going poorly for them, and they probably couldn't summon anything that could beat over my Liger Dancer. So going second here against Dracotail, I hit the Rahu. Doesn't matter, they have 5 mana, and then they go into Arthalion. Arthalion will use its effect. They're gonna go Chain Links 2 and 3 to get some cards on board there. So they have Ketsu set, they have a Trap set, and then they have their Dracotail cards back in hand. They're gonna use Ketsu. They're gonna get 5 mana. Represent Lucius. Lucius will then get Lulu. Out comes Verte Anaconda. Interesting. So they're playing the branded version. So then Sanctifier comes out. Sanctifier will be able to then create for the possibility of fusion on my turn, which is dangerous, of course. But because I'm playing a branded version of Lunalight, I actually have the out right there in hand. So Gold Leo effect sends the trap. I'm getting a lot of advantage now. I get Lunalight fusion to hand. Kaleido Check will send the body, which I can then get back so I can get polymerization. Now here comes Albaz because of Sanctifier. But when they use the Albaz effect, I'm going to use Crossout Designator. And they're going to try to chain Flame to block it, but I have a Ghost Spell. So a fun little chain interaction there that resolves. And ultimately I'm able to get into Liger Dancer. And because they paid 2k for the Verte, I'm about to wipe their board and then just completely go for game. So that was actually like really interesting, because without having the Crossout Designator, I probably would have been in a much tougher position and would have probably had to use Branded Fusion, etc, etc. But yeah, without that, I just go for game right there, and that was a fun one. Alright, going second, and kind of a bricky hand. I mean, not really, because I have 3 Gold Leos, but it's not ideal. You want to see other forms of extension, because obviously if one gets stopped, you can't use the others. And I'm going up against Branded. I forget if this is pure Branded or if it's including Draco. No, there's the Draco cards. But it's more of a it's more of Branded with a splash of Draco than Draco with a splash of Branded. Because here they're going more into like the traditional plays, but they're able to set Rahu. So they are gonna go. They're gonna have some stuff there, but right now you're seeing more of like the traditional, again, branded stuff. You have Mirror Jade there, and then they'll be able to fuse on my turn as well. So I just have to find a way to play around the interruptions. So I start with the Masquerade, send the Hound. They're gonna call it by the Hound. That sucks. But I just go straight into Lunalight Fusion at this point. Figure if you can stop that, you're better. But they can't, so I go right into Liger. They will try to use the Banish. I'm just going to blow up their board before they can do anything else. They are able to protect thanks to their card engrave. But then I will use Leo, Gold Leo, yeah, get Wolf, and I'm able to make another Liger now. And then I have the battle effect from Kaleido, which means that they can't activate cards during battle phase, and then it's over. Because now I can blow up their board and attack twice per game. Going first here, pretty strong. Well, actually, it's not a great hand. If they stop, Foolish Burial would have been a little tougher. But I had a lot of interruptions. So I used Foolish Burial, and then they used Ash on the Hound, which was interesting. It does force me to go into Branded Fusion there, so I'm fusion locked. I'll use Lunalight Fusion here to go into the Perfume Dancer. Perfume Dancer, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. So I'll get a body back on board there. And I'll get the Emerald Bird back to hand. I get Perfume as well. Do the tag out. Now I'm going to be able to search. So I dump Ash because I won't need it here. And then I go into the Wolf, which will then let me go into Liger Dancer. So kind of a weird board, but I still have a potent interruption. I have an extra deck monster negate and bounce. And I have Liger, of course. And then I have 2 bodies there just, again, for backup. I'm going against Mitsurugi here. They're going off, so I'm waiting for the right moment to spring. Oh, but this is Mitsurugi with Argostars. That's why I featured this this replay, because I thought it was an interesting combo here. So all I'm watching out for is the opportunity to use the Liger effect. They go into the Xyz first, and then that's just when Renbrum kicks in. So they bounce it, but I'll bounce their monster as well. They go into Exciton Knight, but that doesn't help because we have the same amount of stuff, so they have to be at a deficit in order for that semi-Zeus effect to work. So then they just start going into the Mitsurugi plays. This is when I will hit them with the Liger pop, and they scoop. So I'm going second again, and now I'm going to face Dracotail again. You'll notice that this section of the video is a lot of my Lunalight deck beating up on Dracotail. Now, they have enough to go full combo here. I can't stop them right now. Basically, it would take extremely bad sequencing for them to leave themselves vulnerable to Ghost Bell from the Arthalion effect. They'll always be able to do like Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3 with something that they're sending for the fusion. They go full board here. So I'm dealing with the monster bounce and of course Flame. Now I have 2 cards that really help me. So I have Ash and Ghost Bell, so I can stop both of their interruptions there. So I Ash the Flame, which allows Masquerade to resolve. So Hound special, Gold Leo effect, and then I'll get Martin into rotation. Martin gets me my Lunalight fusion, which is live because they have extra deck monsters on board. They'll Ghost Bell my Perfume, but I have another one in hand anyway, and I'm going to use this one to the Graveyard effect to search for Kaleido Chick and get that in rotation. They're going to try to bounce. I will Ghost Bell. They will then go into Fimena, and then they're going to pop. So I don't know why they popped the spell. I think it's because I'm locked thanks to the Hound. So in essence, that wasn't a bad move, but it was still kind of weird to me. Now they're going to bounce, so they're gonna negate the Kaleido Chick, which was again a waste because Kaleido Chick sends for cost. So I would send the Tiger just to get it back and then get another body on board. And because I have Lunalight fusion, bang! I go right into Liger Dancer. I Perfume so I can get a monster in attack mode, and also just get something in rotation here. I'm gonna send, and I'm gonna get Wolf now. Because Wolf, again, because Lunalight fusion just sends to graveyard, now Wolf can banish, and I have double Liger. So this one is wrapped up. And we're on to the next one. So here I'm actually gonna go first. Not a great opening hand because Albaz is useless right now, and Lunalight fusion is also sort of useless. So I'll send Gold Leo, then I'll use Perfume to special. They will Ash. I have Crossout Designator, but they hit me with Lancio, which is crazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Dugaris special. So I bring back Kaleido sends Martin effect to bounce, and then I'll Lunalight fusion into the Perfume Dancer. Perfume Dancer effect gets me a Perfume, and then because I sent Martin, that will get me a Lunalight card as well. So I'll send Hound will get me Wolf, Perfume Dancer tag out. Now unfortunately I can't banish because of Lancia, so I can't even use that. But you're gonna see a maneuver here that I did that actually was somewhat on the fly and pretty clever. Now they're gonna hit me with Call by the Grave to send my my Hound, to banish my Hound. I'm facing Sky Striker though. and I know that the only way that this deck can OTK me is in the battle phase. So I use the SP Banish to send my own Kaleido Chick and itself. When Kaleido Chick is banished, my opponent cannot use effects during the battle phase, which means that, yeah, they can go ahead and bring out monsters, but usually what they do is they will like tag out in battle phase with 0 and hit me for game, but they can't do that here. So they do hit me for some solid damage, but that's it. So they're just gonna go ahead and try to leave me at real disadvantage here in main 2. They'll set 3 and pass, but I'm actually in a pretty solid position now. So all I have to be mindful of is, now they do banish Martin, which sucks, but I have 2 bodies on board and I have to find a way to creatively break their board. Now again, I'm skipping because of Dugara's there, but I get Kaleido Chick in rotation. I'm able to Xyz, negate their monster, use Tenki to then get out my Tiger. I go into Cross Sheep, and then Tiger bring back the fusion. They will Ghost Spell, but at this point, I use the Perfume effect to search. Wolf will banish and get out Liger Dancer. Cross Sheep will bring out Kaleido Chick. I'll use a Pendulum Summon. They're gonna take control and negate, but it doesn't matter because it comes back. And having Goldio here in conjunction with Liger is actually pretty important, because it sort of gives me an infinite resource loop, because whatever I send off of the Liger pop can then come back. So you can see right there, I will send it back, so I have constant fuel. They're gonna do a little bit of damage there by beating over Cross Sheep, but now I'm in full control of the board. Because they have no more interruptions, I can really stop my Liger Dancer outside of the one in archetype Kaiju that they have, but I guess they don't run it. And yeah, at that point they realize the game is lost. So we're out of the Duelist Cup now, and now you're gonna see some replays that were just kind of in master rank, as I was trying to get up to Master 1. Now this is actually with an earlier build, so some of these replays are actually out of chronological order. I'm showing you this one because it involves how to play around an interruption on Gold Leo, especially if you have, well, mostly if you have Perfume in hand. So I was able to go into Almirage there, Perfume, and then use the Perfume Graveyard effect also to search what I needed. Here I got into the Fusion, and now I'm just going full combo. Just as a heads up, I won't have like a typical outro where I show the deck list and anything like that, just because the video is long enough. But yeah, I definitely wanted to show you these replays in ranked as well, using the other build. This is not the branded Lunalight build that I have. It's more of like a traditional Lunalight build, and it really wasn't optimal because I'm running Gallant Granite in the extra deck, as you're going to see right here. I was using this just to mostly get additional forms of interruption, just to help back up Liger Dancer and make people think twice about comboing off if they knew I had Nibiru in hand. Ultimately though, just to run the one Nibiru and the Gallant Granite, I figured I'd rather use the space for the branded stuff. But in case anyone is interested in running it this way, these replays here are to show you kind of how that pure build goes. Once again, we're beating up on poor Dracotail here. So I negated the Ketu here because it was live for a fusion as well. So I negated it on the off chance that they didn't have Rahu in hand to open as well. They did. But now you'll see SP. So SP Liger, because Baguska is banned in this game, SP Liger is actually really strong. So here I'm just controlling the board. They don't have anything to attack with. They'll go Malulu to fusion again. I'm basically trying to force them to play into Nibiru. So they popped the Tiger. Tiger then lets me go into Gold Leo, and its effect is live, so I get Black Sheep to follow up the next turn. Actually I didn't even do that. I just I used Liger's effect to pop sending the Wolf, and then I used Gold Leo's effect to have Wolf in hand for next turn. And then I get SP back, they get their monster back, but then they Veiler my Leo, I will SP, they will chain. point is everything resolves for me. Then Emerald Bird will get me a monster back. I'll send Tiger to grave. Wolf will then activate. They're gonna negate the wolf. Still have the ability to pop here, and I just attack. And now next turn, I'm just waiting to see what they can do. I get my my SP target back, even though SP's gone now. But I at least have Gold Leo where I can sort of loop my fusion resources here. To bring out Arthalion. I really think they're just spinning their wheels at this point. Like, they have 400 life points left, and then they're just trying to, I guess, get me in a vulnerable position, but I don't think they have anything that can beat over Liger Dancer. There's Secretarian, and that's when they play into Nibiru, and at that point they scoop. They really have nothing left there. So going first here, strong opening hand because I have protection. Like, they're gonna Ash Gold Leo. I let it resolve because what I'm keeping designator for there, I believe, was Droll. Or maybe I just kept it for the next turn because I realized I had plenty. Now they go into Ryzeal C, which is actually pretty good. But as you can see here, I'm running Forbidden Droplet in this build. But I stopped there because that does kind of stop me in my tracks, and I didn't have enough to play through. Now they get rid of their own Ryzeal C and go into Max C because they need the ability to send to graveyard. So right there you see that it's Dracotail again. And they just do a little bit of damage there, and they just go into Malulu and they're waiting to fuse on my turn. I negate their Max C, which I do with Ash. They go into Arthalion. I get a draw. I get the add from Gold Leo. They're gonna re-add their Ryzeal C. They pop my cross-out designator. They get Rahu. Now, I have to be careful with Ryzeal C here, but right now what I'm just trying to do, thanks to getting Lunalight Fusion, is that Ryzeal C doesn't matter. Because the idea is that they already lost life points when they crashed Ryzeal into my Perfume Dancer. So all I have to do now is just successfully resolve the Lunalight Fusion, which I do, as you can see there. And with Liger on board now... Oh, that's right, but I can't... So Ryzeal C actually does stop Liger's effect because I can't send to graveyard. Everything gets banished. So I have to crash into it first, then I can board wipe, then I can attack once directly. So it's actually a pesky card. And right now I just have to make sure that they can't do anything. Now the Magistus cards do give them the ability to equip, which then gives some of their monsters the ability to get big enough that they can beat over Liger Dancer. There comes Boral Savage. Now they do make it strong, but again, its Omni Negate is useless against Liger Dancer, so even though it has 34, Arthalion comes out, they're going to try to beef it up. Here comes Rahu. Again, mostly just spinning their wheels here, and I'm just waiting to spring the Lunalight board wipe on them. That's really the key with being, effective at using Lunalight. Knowing when to use the effect, and oftentimes it's really just using it in battle. So yeah, and at that point they just scoop. Alright, so we're going into the last two duels of the video here. If you stuck around this long, you're a trooper, I appreciate you. Hope you got a lot of presents for Christmas just because of that. So here I'm seeing the Fiendsmith combo going out. I spring Nibiru on them early, and that just lets them go uninhibited into the full Mitsurugi stuff. While they do all that, as you can see, I have no other disruption, but that I'm piloting the branded version again now. Although I still have Nibiru, but I'm running branded. So yeah, while they go full combo, just wanted to point out a couple themes across the video. So sequencing being super important with how I did it, and just that I ended up sticking with Lunalight like for the final climb, going from Master 2 to Master 1. That was pure Lunalight that I did that with. I mean, it's like Lunalight with the branded stuff, but I didn't switch back and forth anymore. It was because the matchup against Dracotail was actually pretty free. It's kind of an instant win sometimes when you just resolve Liger. And I found it to be more resilient to hand traps, because there were times that Odion would get stuck in the mud. Okay, so my turn now. Send Fractal. Fractal gets called by, so that doesn't work. I use Branded Fusion. They will hit me with Ash. And I am Fusion Lock now too, which stinks. So I go Gold Leo. They bring out Habakiri. I get Lunalight. Yeah, I send Martin. Martin gets me my Lunalight Fusion. Lunalight Fusion resolves, and I get right into Liger Dancer. Now, the part that's tough here is that they're gonna hit me with IP Masquerena, and they're gonna just tribute my whole, they tribute Liger Dancer and their whole board to go into Underworld Goddess. So I'm actually in pretty deep trouble here. But thankfully, I had Perfume, which they're gonna negate with Underworld Goddess. But being able to send it to then get Lunalight Wolf to hand is clutch, because then I can just go, yeah, they're gonna fuse. And thankfully, they aren't able to disrupt this play. Otherwise, I'd be in real trouble. But yeah, I get out Liger Dancer off of this play, and because of the life points that they've paid too, they're in an extremely vulnerable position. But I do have to beat over Underworld Goddess first, then I wipe the board, then I attack, and now the ball's in their court. I do send, I'm able to get Wolf back, and then summon Leo Dancer, which I did just to do a little bit of additional pressure there, because Leo Dancer cannot be destroyed by card effects as well, so it's not vulnerable to the Murakumo effect. And it's just an impressive card. It still has like 3,500 attack points. Granted, it's being weakened there. They take some more life point damage to special summon. And yeah. They're just gonna try to go into some Fiendsmith stuff, pop the board. They do a little bit of damage, but the end is nigh. Yeah, they scoop. And we're gonna head into our final duel now. Again, I won't be doing any kind of outro. Just wanted to say thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe here. I'm going first. Go with Branded Fusion. They will max C. Again, I'm here to tell you, we don't care. We don't. Yeah. Go Lunalight, Yellow Martin, get me to the mill. I go and get Wolf, send Kaleido. Tiger gets me Kaleido back. Kaleido sends for cost. We're going up against Dracotail, so they spring the 5 mana on our turn. Yeah, let them go off. This is basically just to point out how Dracotail is really, I don't want to say easy matchup, because there's still very good Dracotail players that can do things, and if you make a mistake, they will take advantage. But it is a very good matchup for Lunalight. See here, I was able to still go full combo, and that's really the thing I wanted to talk about with this deck in particular. It's all about knowing how to get to having your Liger Dancer on board, and then knowing when to use its effect, and when just how to support it, basically how to maintain your resource loop, how to have negates live for yourself, whether that's the Hound negate or the Renbrum if you're playing the branded variant. All of that matters here. So yeah, here I'm just trying to see how they're going to try to come at Liger Dancer, and I'm holding on because I know they're fusion locked. I'm trying to see if they can beef up their monster. Now they try to do something that doesn't affect it. There you go. They beef up their monster. I will wipe their board. And then main 2. Yeah, they're just trying to protect themselves for this turn. And we're coming up on the end of the duel here. Alright, and we're coming up on the end of the video here. I will hit them for big damage, and then next turn they're just going to crash into my monster, like for just to end it for themselves, basically, as they seppuku. But wanted to give a big shout out to everyone who's watched and subscribed and commented. If you have any questions about any of my gameplay, please feel free. Overall, I just wanted to say I'm pretty happy with how I'm running these decks and Lunalight in particular. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. Please feel free to interact with me. It really helps the channel, but also I enjoy genuinely like just interacting with you all. So take care and hope everyone has a great rest of 2025.